Neighborhood dogs. You see them just about everywhere. Some are friendly, others are fierce. Some will watch every single move you make, while others couldn't be bothered for anything. Children's movies will show groups of dogs congregating and communicating over some shared goal. What if that shared goal was defense of the neighborhood? And what if those potential threats were paranormal or supernatural in nature? On this week's episode of The Graphic Reader, we examine just that with Beasts of Burden, Animal Rights. Hey, and welcome back to The Graphic Reader. I'm Nathan, and today I'll be talking to you about the book Beasts of Burden, Animal Rights by Evan Dorkin and Jill Thompson. But before we get into today's review, I just want to thank everyone who has subscribed. I really appreciate it, guys. You make me want to keep doing this. So, Beasts of Burden is a collection of short stories involving a group of dogs and a cat that get roped into facing off against supernatural and paranormal threats against their neighborhood of Burden Hill. Originally created as a story for the anthology The Dark Horse Book of Hauntings, Evan Dorkin wanted to do a haunted house themed story, but knew that the idea was verging on cliche. So he decided to make the haunted house a haunted dog house. Now, Dorkin has stated in interviews that he felt like his ability to draw dogs was about on par with breakdance and with his ability to breakdance, which, personally, I've never seen him breakdance. I've seen his artwork, but I've never seen him breakdance. He could have choreographed break into Electric Boogaloo for all I know. So he talked Dark Horse into getting Jill Thompson to illustrate the story. Now, both Dorkin and Thompson are veterans of the comics industry. Dorkin first gained fame through such projects as Milk and Cheese, Dairy Products Gone Bad, Eltonville Club, and Dork, while Thompson found success through stints on Wonder Woman, The Sandman, and her own successful series, Scary Godmother. Dorkin and Thompson have both won multiple awards together and separately, and they have both also had very successful forays into television. So the very first story that they did, Stray, was received so popularly that there were follow-up stories in 3 more The Dark Horse book of anthologies before they finally got their own series in 2009. And the series has proven to be wildly popular in addition to those anthologies. The tales have been collected into 4 books at this point. So the very first collection, Animal Rights, introduces us to the main characters and details their early adventures, from the aforementioned haunted doghouse to an encounter with a werewolf, and the thwarting of an evil witch coven intent on summoning Sekhmet. This following stories also mention the eventual fallout from these earlier adventures, including frog demons, zombies, and other supernatural dangers. Now, the Guardians of Burden Hill may not relish their role that has been foisted upon them, but by the same token, they're not going to shy away from it either. So, I was first introduced to Dorkin's work with Milk and Cheese, Dairy Products Gone Bad back in the mid-90s or so. And I've always really appreciated his storytelling. He's got a good command of pace, and the characters he especially creates in Beasts of Burden are very well fleshed out. They're very unique. Each character, you know them, but they're presented in an entirely new way. As for Jill Thompson, I first discovered her through The Sandman, and her artwork is very dreamy at times. It's very kind of mystical, so to speak. And her stints on like the Dead Boy Detective Agency, which was an offshoot of The Sandman, is top notch. So all in all, this is a really solid story, really good book. And, at first blush, people are like, oh, this is a talking animal book. This ought to be good for all ages. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not an all ages book. I would really hesitate to recommend this to anyone under the age of 13. There is fair amounts of violence, often resulting in death and or dismemberment, that is shown on the page. And some people do find that distressing. There are a couple stories in there that just have an emotional gut punch that'll just leave you just feeling kind of just wrung out afterwards. But they are just so important and they're so strong. And I just cannot recommend them enough. However, if the supernatural is your jam, if you grew up on like Bunnicula or Scooby Apocalypse, Beasts of Burden is going to be a book that you just absolutely enjoy, and I highly recommend that you go check it out. It's the first chance you get. You can get it from Amazon, you can get it from Barnes & Noble, you can get it from Powell's. My personal favorite is bookshop.org. There's a great kind of collective, works kind of like early Amazon, that they just sell books, but every book that you purchase, a portion of that sale, the proceeds go back to local bookstores in your area to help independent booksellers. So I suggest you check them out, bookshop.org. Well, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. If you know someone who would be interested in this book, please share this video. If you want to be one of the first ones to know when a new episode drops, please subscribe. And I'm going to challenge you. Tell me what you didn't like about this video. Tell me what you didn't like about this video. Tell me what you are reading. Tell me what you'd like me to read. Drop a line down below, and I will talk to you guys next time. For the Graphic Reader, this is Nathan.